Greetings! This is another Sprocket video where once again, for the second time in a row, I'm going to show you my improved old designs. So, the first subject of this video would be the fastest ever vehicle I created, and this would be the Falcon light tank. Of course, it's quite old. It was made before freeform even existed, and to all the veterans who have forgotten this, and to all those new players who had never had to deal with this shit, we had to use trench tails to mount these add-on plates too, and that was how we made the decorative things. Yes, that was the only way. We didn't have the tools to rotate things around or just move them around. We literally had to just pick them up and place them on these trench tails. This is the next stage in its evolutionary process, and I quite like this one actually, better than the fourth iteration of the design. But I mean, it's nothing really special, so let's take a look at this version. I also like this one better than the last one, but I mean, it's not bad. I wouldn't say it's atrocious, but I can't really say the exact same thing for the next one. This thing is just simply ugly, atrocious, awful, bad, shit even. I don't know how I ever thought of such a design. It's just so damn bad. I'm glad I've moved on, and let's see the fifth version. Yeah, a few things did change. So, the most visible change is probably the hull front. It's more like a BT5, I would say, or a BT7, or just any BT tank in general. And it's a bit bigger, but not in weight. This is actually the lightest version. So yes, this thing weighs at 7.63 tons. So it's really lightweight, and you know what? Let's see what this thing can do. Alright, let's go. We have 17 of these Falcon light tanks, which is basically completely absurd in every sense of the word. And as you can see, I'm rather fast. I have an 805 or 10 horsepower engine and I don't know the caliber of the gun. I think it's either a 57 or a 40 millimeters one. And I have around 90 millimeters of penetration, which is actually enough to kill a king tiger from a decent-ish distance, although I completely suck at aiming. By the way, the missile is purely decorational, and as you can hear, there are a couple of bugs regarding the audio. Yeah, when things fire every half a second, that can kinda do that, especially when 16 things fire at every half a second. So yes, this thing is rather insane. I don't quite remember the top speed, so I'm going to have to test it out again. Now, where is the last enemy? Hello, motherfucker. Why are you facing that direction? Interesting. Alright. Now let's test out how quick it is, because I always forget. Backwards, it's rather quick, 36 kilometers per hour. That's nice. Now let's see the forward top speed. Alright, let's do this. And 134.74. Yes, that's quick. Alright. The second subject of this video is a medium tank, and this would be the AGS-1049. Now, the thing is, this isn't the first version. The first version got, well, evaporated. So I'm stuck with this second version, which I hate with every single cell of my body. Now let's see an improved version, which is actually very recent. This version of it is only a few months old, but I already improved on it. So my problems with this design are this gun area. I also don't like how the top just blends into itself. That's not really something I appreciate about it, and actually that's about it really. So it's rather acceptable, but the newer version, you will see, it's so much better. And it would look something like this. And actually this is the lightest of them all, because the previous two versions were 47 and 48 tons respectively, and this one is a bit below 45. So yes, it's lighter than the previous two. And the engine deck. I have suffered with this one, especially with this, because I never really made any circular vents before, so yeah, this was kind of a first for me, so yeah, suffering was kind of expected. The tracks around the turret is a returning feature. I also really like this driver hatch, and finally I made the turret not blend it into itself, so yes, that's a +2. But let's stop talking and let's start acting. Alright, here we are at the taiga scenario, and now let's do some target practice. The thing with my medium tanks is that they all suck. So none of them perform rather well, especially not on taiga. I mean, this is probably the hardest scenario if we ignore the existence of no tanks land. So yes, but my point still stands. My medium tanks usually don't perform well. Oh, that one's dead. Why did you stop, you little shit? Alright, my bot is doing a nice job. What? Oh, there's something moving. I believe that's a Centurion, although I can't confirm my suspicions. Oh, that's a hit. Maybe that's a King Tiger actually. No, that was a Centurion. Before I go into the open, yep, there it is. So yeah, enemies sometimes just don't really spawn with a consciousness. You have to show up in front of them so they kinda start existing in the moment. So yes, that's kind of a quirky thing in Sprocket, I guess, maybe, possibly. So yes, this would be the AGS-1049, a medium tank that's actually very confusable with a T-55 from a distance. So, our last design has quite a bit of history behind it. So, long story short, it was first made in scrap mechanic years ago as my first HGS tank with a canister gun. And fun fact, it was called HGST-11 at the time because it was my 11th tank design. So updates came, some parts with them came too, so I of course made versions of the HGST-11. And of course Sprocket came too, and this is the first version of it, which is called the AGS 103-2 because it's my second light tank. Yeah, a much better naming system in my opinion. So yes, this version was of course made before the freeform was even a thing, so let's just move on. The second version looks atrocious. It really didn't age well at all, so let's move on again. Yeah, this third version isn't any better either, but this is the point where I decided that an elevated engine deck is probably a good idea. And a good idea doesn't look like this, and yeah, making this version was a bad idea. It's just so ugly, atrocious, awful. It's big, chunky, tall. It doesn't look any good whatsoever. I hate it. So, as you can see, there wasn't any improvements made along the way. I mean, there were improvements, but they didn't really improve a lot. So, let's see the fifth version. And here it would be. So, the thing with this is the most accurate to the first AGS T11. So it's rather short, both in terms of height and in terms of length. It has a big chunky gun. It has a very flat hull, so the elevated engine deck did stay. It will stay actually, but yeah, let's see what it can do in combat. Let's do some target practice against 9 enemies. Outrageous. So as you can see, the turret did change. Why is that the case? So the previous turrets you have seen on the previous versions, those turrets were basically the turrets of the second version, and this turret is actually more similar to the first version of the AGS 103-2. So yes, and that was a miss. I do not feel threatened at all. I mean, I have practically zero armor, but I mean, these are quite stupid bots, so I probably don't have to worry about any of them. And also my enemies are just disappearing before I can even take a shot at them. So it seems like this vehicle is a bit too effective for my liking. 1 minute and 11 seconds. Well, this was very quick. I couldn't even finish my thoughts. So, as you can see, this thing has 2 cupolas, and you might be asking, where is the driver? Technically here, or theoretically here, and this is where the commander's cupola is. So there are 2 cupolas because first of all the driver needs to see, and second of all the commander needs to see. And the gunner and the loader have their places too. So yes, I'm overall really happy with this vehicle, mostly because I never really got to making a proper AGS 103-1 turret, although I did make several of the second version's turrets, as you have seen them earlier, and I'm going to make the second version too. I just have to make a completely new turret for it. And yeah, that's about it really. So this would be the end of this video. If you liked it, hit the dislike button. If not, hit the dislike button. If you want to, you can unsubscribe. Bye.